big week here in Colorado. Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton and Republican vice presidential candidate Mike Pence, flip-flop that, both making stops here on Wednesday. Here to talk about these visits, which put Colorado in the spotlight, Krista Kafer, co-host of Kelly and Kafer on KNUS Radio, and David Sirota, the senior editor for the International Business Times, based here in Denver. Thank you for joining us as well. Let's start with the ad that just came out recently from Mike Coffman, from Representative Mike Coffman, where he says he's not a fan of his party's presidential candidate.
People ask me, what do you think about Trump? Honestly, I don't care for him much, and I certainly don't trust Hillary. So
as Donald Trump visited last week, we have this candidate saying, he hasn't earned my votes. First, what's the point of this ad?
I think the point is to distance himself from a very flawed candidate who appears to be imploding. I think it was a wise move.
He's in a swing district. There's not a lot of swing districts. You know, a Republican going after a Republican nominee is interesting, but I think everything is so weird this year that it's actually not that weird. If you're representing a swing district, you may want to get away from Trump. And of course, he also says he wants to kind of get away from Hillary. So he's trying to position himself as an independent.
Now, I asked him this because we interviewed him about that, and I asked if he wasn't in such a competitive district, would he still have that ad? His answer was he could be in a deep red district, and he still doesn't have his respect or earn his trust there. I have to take him for his word for it, but I mean, when you look at the numbers, it seems political for the reason of having that ad.
You know, I'll take him for his word. He actually was offended. He is a Marine, and he was offended about the treatment of the cons. And so, yeah, you do pay a little bit of a price among certain hardcore Republican voters when you distance yourself from Trump, but I think it was a moral decision.
When we hear last week that Republicans might have an exit strategy that they're talking about if suddenly Donald Trump's not going to be the nominee, what do we make of that?
I mean, I don't see what the mechanics of getting him off the ballot are, right? We're what, less than 100 days for the election? You've got ballots in 50 states. The process of getting Donald Trump off the ballot, if he was to drop out, that is not an easy process. And the thing is, he hasn't expressed, at least as far as I can tell, any interest in getting off the ballot. So the first thing would be him expressing interest in leaving the ballot, because right now he is has a rightful claim to the nomination of the party.
When you're falling from an aircraft, the first thing you do is look for that ripcord. I don't know if that ripcord is actually there. I think it will be very difficult, and he hasn't shown any sign that he understands that being 15 points down in the polls at this level or at this time is probably not a good thing.
There's a video from the New York Times of what it's like to be in a crowd at multiple Donald Trump rallies. And if you hear what is said in this video, I mean, there's a lot of, there's some racism in there, some derogatory comments, but there's passion from the people in the crowd identifying with what Donald Trump is saying. So when we hear this poll that says Hillary Clinton's 15 points up, I'm guessing they're polling traditional voters, not necessarily all these people that are showing up for Donald Trump rallies that are buying into that message. I mean, he's talking to a specific group of people that like what he says. Why are we discounting that?
I mean, I think things are going to tighten. I still think the edge right now, when you look at it, is Hillary Clinton has an edge. But Trump is tapping into an anti-establishment fervor in the country right now. And that makes, I think, predictions are hard to make in that environment when you're going to have people probably come out to vote who haven't necessarily been traditional Republican voters, traditional voters in presidential elections.
Well, and Hillary Clinton's had a really good week for a lot of reasons. Her performance was excellent, and then he made some gaffes. I think we could see some narrowing because she is also a very flawed candidate. I think it's only a matter of time before some of the things that she's said and done catch up with her, and some doubt is interjected there as well.
The most recent thing with Donald Trump and questioning whether what he's saying is accurate or not is this plane to Iran, but now he's saying the plane that he was talking about seeing wasn't where the money was coming off of, but it was where the hostages were being taken to Switzerland. If you just hear him talk, you believe what he says, and maybe you don't see the tweet saying actually it was this. Is there a danger in just having candidates speak and not being able to have a fact check right afterwards at all times?
I mean, I think Trump has made a calculation that if he can insert himself into as many news cycles as possible, no matter what he says, that is his formula for success. That has been his formula for success as a reality TV star, as a kind of a mass culture icon. and I think he's betting on the fact that people will not tune into fact-checking, media accountability stories. And in a media where there's so much fragmentation, it's not necessarily a bad bet. Will it work? I'm not sure, but it's a calculation.
Well, in communication theory, if you hear somebody over and over again, you see them over and over again, you're more likely to like them. It's a weird subconscious thing that I think worked in the primary. Maybe it could work in the general.
So Colorado's not supposed to matter if we believe what the pollsters are saying, but yet we've seen the visits from both Pence, Trump, and Clinton in the last week. So why are we still seeing their visits if we don't matter?
I guess they can't take us for granted.
I mean, I think it's still a swing state. I think Clinton feels like she has to lock it up and nothing is safe. But so far, I mean, the demographics of Colorado, it's a tough climb for Trump here. It's an easier climb in the upper Midwest, I think, for him.
I want to ask one more Trump question. When it comes to attacking the fire marshals, which he did in Colorado Springs and he's done in other states, we never know how many tickets his campaign has actually issued to these. It could be almost self-fulfilled. They're doing it themselves by purposefully giving more tickets than are necessary. We don't know for sure. But I mean, why attack somebody? This goes to your theory probably that he just wants to be in the news cycles, but that seems dangerous.
It does seem dangerous because I think civil people go, why? Why are you attacking a fire marshal? I mean, at some point, decent people start getting turned off, and I think that's already happening.
Krista and David, this is a topic we could touch on for hours probably, but
we got months of laughs to go.
A couple more months.
We'll do it some more. Thanks for both of you for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.